The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube. And thanks to our friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we are syndicated to cable systems coast to coast across the United States and in 12 million households. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, and Boaz Frankel, this is great news for you because I know as soon as the show goes off the air, you take a nap. I'm going to suggest you do it before the show because researchers in Germany have determined that it's a good idea to snooze at work. That's right. They have conducted a study that concludes that a 6-minute cat nap actually improves one's memory. How about that? So tell your bosses you're really improving your memory for the job if your boss ever catches you asleep on the job. Boaz, every afternoon, it's afternoon still in California, takes a nap after the show. We need you to take
but Gary, you forget
show.
to tell people what time I get up in the morning, what I do all morning, and I mean, I start my day very early. By the way, this thing about getting a 6-minute cat nap is scientifically explainable by the fact that when you sleep, you regenerate your brain cells, therefore improving your memory.
Wow, Boaz. Maybe you took a nap before the show. That sounded very intelligent. Now, if you could do that with a British accent, people would really believe you.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a known fact that back in the Middle East, the famous siesta that is still practiced in Europe and in the Middle East has its purposes, but mainly because of the weather in the Middle East, the hot hours of the day, people go home for 2 hours and they sleep. But those 2 hours are the time that they regenerate, and that's a practice that's been going on for thousands of years, Gary.
Are you prejudiced against people in Central and South America where the siesta, sir, was invented?
Gary, the siesta was invented in the Middle East that goes back thousands of years, okay? So let's get that straight.
Okay. Anyways, today's show, at least the beginning of the show, is not about taking cat naps. It's about somebody who, I don't know, maybe he took a cat nap after. I don't know. John McCain has been accused. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, John McCain is 71 years old. This happened in 1999. Still, you know, as you age, you know, your libido is supposed to kind of decline. Supposedly, according to an article in the New York Times, he had close ties to a woman lobbyist. Today, he said in a news conference that he had no romantic relationship with the lobbyist, and he did not have, as the story suggested, in 1999, confrontations with his staff members who told him to zip it up. Now, let me tell you something. The last time an elder statesman on the Republican Party ran for president of the United States unsuccessfully, he had to admit to the world after he was defeated that he suffered from ED, erectile dysfunction. In fact, this is true. This is not a joke. That Bob Dole went on television and actually was a spokesman for Viagra, or one of those, drugs that help men enjoy themselves later in life. I suffer from ED, erectile dysfunction. And, you know, it could be that people didn't vote for Bob Dole because they thought he might have been a tired, worn out, too old kind of a guy to be president of the United States. But here we have McCain. People are making the same comments about him. Isn't it interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that at a time that people are saying maybe McCain, you know, now that it looks like Obama may very likely, you know, the young and vital and young and awake.
They certainly
Obama.
can't say that about Clinton, can they, Gary?
No, there was no problem with Clinton with his libido. We know that. In fact, there was a problem with Clinton with his libido, but it wasn't that. You're right. It wasn't erectile dysfunction. But could it be that the McCain camp leaked this information themselves? Huh? So that people would say, oh, McCain can still perform. Maybe that means he can perform the duties of President of the United States. Okay, I make light of the issue. Let me tell you, in all seriousness, these smear campaigns, and McCain suffered a smear campaign the last time he ran for the Republican nomination for President of the United States. Whoever is in the driver's seat seems to get the smear campaign. As soon as Obama started to surge ahead of Hillary Clinton, the smear campaign was accelerated. By the way, I predict that the smear campaign in Obama will backfire, that people will be so tired of it that they will come to his defense and vote for him because it's disgusting. Instead of talking about, some do, but instead of in large numbers talking about his experience, the fact that he hasn't introduced any significant legislation, that he hasn't been around long enough to work up the seniority chain, to really be effective in the U.S. Senate. Instead of talking about that and questioning his qualifications, they attack him for his race, they attack him for his religion. It's ridiculous. And this is the problem with politics today, ladies and gentlemen. And, as far as I'm concerned, I hate to say this. No, I don't. I'm going to say it. If the allegations are against McCain are true, I say bully McCain, because you know what? He's a human being. Who cares? When we went through this whole thing, as Boaz suggested, with Bill Clinton over his picadillos. Yes, I know those of you who are Bill Clinton detractors. It's not the fact that he had sexual relations with that woman, Monica Lewinsky. It's that he lied about it under oath. Come on. Why was it even an issue to question him about in the first place? Who cares what consenting adults do? That was between him and Monica and him and Hillary, not between the rest of us. It was a tawdry affair, and the rest of the world was laughing at the United States of America for making an issue out of this. And by the way, while he was focused on this, other things were happening in the world that he should have been focusing on as president of the United States, but he couldn't because he was fighting.
You know what, Gary? Why don't we just set up an office for Hugh Hefner on the second floor of the White House and be done with it?
Hugh Hefner, the Playboy guy? Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you don't want, yes, it's tawdry. You don't want the president of the United States. I understand it's the Oval Office and all that, but if you look back, there have been many presidents who have, involved themselves with women, not their wives, during their time in office. I'm not saying that I'm a proponent of adultery. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that we make too much out of it. Okay, so what do you guys think about McCain Gate? And why is this coming out right now? And do you really care? Don from Chicago. Don, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.